Bears lose, life goes on. So we're gonna relax today, talk a little bit about. We're just gonna have a little bit of a conversation. It's the last Sunday of the year. We're celebrating God's faithfulness, God's goodness in our lives, and everything that He's done with us, through us, and for us. When I read that verse, reading Matthew and being in this holiday spirit after Christmas, it just started off and it shook me real strong because it's a beautiful truth that many of us cannot hang on to because we just kind of overlook it or we don't think it's that important, but it's one of the most important things in our lives to understand that. So I'm going to read it from the beginning. We're going to find this in Matthew, in the book of Matthew, chapter 1, and we're going to read from verse 21 and on. So this is what it says, 21 and on. And she will bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. That's verse 21. And the angel is prophesying to Mary and Joseph, this young couple, to this young virgin girl that has never been involved with anyone, a young virgin lady that is being talked to, and she's being told by an angel, you're going to give birth to a son, and his name is going to be called Jesus. And not only that, he's going to be God. So can you imagine the implication of that, of a mother? It's tough enough to raise a child and to bring a child into this world. Now, this child is going to be God. So the angel is telling her, this young mother, this young virgin mother, young teenage girl, hey, you're going to have a son, and your son's going to be God. So imagine that. And then it goes on to say, he will save his people from sins. So here is the son that's going to be born into the world, Jesus Christ, that's going to save humanity from their sins. So this goes at a long, far stretch. The Jesus that we know is not only Jesus of love and grace, but he is a Jesus of truth. And that Jesus that was talked about in this verse says he's going to save the world from sin. Not just the world, but you. You, all of you that are sitting here, including myself, the greatest sinner in this room, myself, he's going to save me from my sin. And what humanity must learn and understand is, in order to recognize a Savior, we must first admit that we need one. We must first admit that we are in sin. We must first recognize that we are a sinful generation. So that's why the world needed a Savior. And the angel tells this young lady, that's Jesus. So Jesus is going to do that, and Jesus is going to free all of us from our sin. So what a heavy implication to tell somebody that you're pregnant with the God of the universe, and he's going to relieve everyone from their sins. It goes on to say, so all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, verse 23, behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. God is with us. And it is that truth alone. We get involved in this holiday season, and it's a wonderful day, and everyone's buying gifts, and everyone's singing Christmas carols and Christmas music, listening to the radio since October 20th or 25th. They don't even pay close attention to the rules. You're supposed to listen to Christmas music after Thanksgiving, and some of you guys listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving, and it's like, we need to pray for you. You should not listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving. But we get involved in this whole atmosphere and holiday spirit, and we say, yeah, Emmanuel, God is with us. But that timeless truth that is prophesied upon this young girl about her son, naming him Emmanuel, God is with us, is what marks and identifies each and every single one of us and makes us who we are as people. Now, I can't live a life solely dependent on God, on Jesus Christ, if I first do not understand that he is for me, that he is with me, that in every stage of my life, that in every downfall in my life, that in every obstacle in my life, that in every great part of my life, God is with me. And guess religion in the past 20, 30 years and church in general, it has kind of scared people off because it paints a picture of God of being this angry man in the heavens sitting on a big throne with a lightning bolt in his hand, ready to strike you down as soon as you commit a sin or as soon as you do something bad. And he's just like waiting for the moment that you mess up so that he could hurt you. And we've painted that picture, I guess, by the music we've sung, by the stuff that we've said, by the unbiblical teachings that we've taught. But it's not like that, because what was promised to the world, what was promised to humanity, what was promised to the sinner like you and me, was a God that was going to be with us forever. And not only in general, but if you take it personal, and if you read this and you take it for yourself, Jonathan, God is going to be with you. Jonathan, when you go through the worst things in your life and those strong, difficult moments and those moments that you feel like you see no out, God is going to be there. And sometimes during this season of a lot of holiday and cheer, there's a lot of people that really get depressed during these times. I mean, everyone's with their family, everyone's enjoying their wife or husband. I'm alone, I don't have anyone, no one loves me, and some people get real depressed. And even though they might know a lot of people, they're lonely. And even though they might be surrounded by a lot of people, they feel alone. And even though they have 1,000 friends on Facebook, they feel alone. They haven't recognized that there was a Savior that was promised from day one in this young lady's belly. There was a boy that was going to grow up to be a man that was going to save the entire universe of its sin. And he was going to be with you. He was going to be with me. And he was going to walk with us every step of our life. Now that truth, friends, is what I want to talk about. This last Sunday of the year, we can take a look at this past year, and typically everyone does it. It's the kind of the thing to do, to have a New Year's resolution. Next year I'm going to do this differently. Next year I'm going to do this. But in reality, it's not really just about setting a resolution for next year and saying, I'm going to read my Bible more, I'm going to pray more, I'm going to try to come to church more, I'm going to try to give more offering, etc., blah, 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 blah. No, what we need to understand is that this timeless truth is for right now, and it's going to carry us through the next 50 New Years or the next 60 New Years from today. God is with you. God is for you. And God will not leave you. Every song we sang today talked about God's great faithfulness. And that is what the Christian life is all about. So when you're adopted into this faith, when you're adopted by the God of grace, the Father of all love, you're adopted into this truth saying that I will not abandon you, I will not forsake you, I will not leave you. And how much you believe that and how much you know that is how you live your life. It's an inside look of who you are when you go through some difficult times in your life. Because this small truth of God being with us is the most important element in the Christian life. So I wanna talk to you about this a little bit and just have this laid back conversation, because I want to be upfront as well. I want to confront and be direct with you, because if we do not recognize God with us, then God is not with us. God is apart from us. God is not with me. God is there. God is only at church. God is only with the good people that go to church. God is only with that guy up there preaching or talking to people. He's only with those guys that are singing those nice songs up there. God is not with me. He cannot be with me. I am not that bad of a person, or I'm too bad of a person that God cannot be with me. And so I don't recognize this truth. And so what I end up doing is just building my own way of living, my own way of expression, my own faith per se, saying God is there, God is not here. And then so when you go through trials and difficult moments and tough times in life, God, you live it like God not being there. But it was promised to this young lady, never been with any man in her life, a goes up to her and he tells her, "You're going to have a son, and he's going to save the world of its sins. And he will be with every single one of them, and he will be there with them in the toughest times, and he will be there in order for them to come near the Father, which is God, and have that communion, that oneship, that fellowship, so that they are no longer alone." And people think that they're alone. People live their life totally alone. I like being alone in a sense. Alone, have my own quiet time, have my own, especially now with a kid, I enjoy moments that I'm able to go to the bathroom and actually be alone without my daughter like opening the door and saying, "Beep, beep, hi, hi." I'm like, let me just have 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes by myself. I like being alone. I like reading a book by myself. I like watching TV by myself. Sometimes I like being alone. And most of the other times I love being with my wife. And that's part of marriage, not being alone all the time. But there's people that, yeah, there's not a problem with wanting to be alone or living alone or having that kind of, that need. Even the Bible teaches us to be alone with God. But there's a problem with feeling lonely. There's a problem. There's a lot of people that feel alone. So there's a difference. And God is telling us, and what was promised to us is that God is with us. So, spiritual maturity, spiritual formation in every person's life here. This is how it goes. The definition or the evaluation, how we can evaluate spiritual growth and spiritual maturity in our lives is very simple. It's how we react to things in our life when obstacles or when circumstances or when something on the outside comes in, how we react to that. So how do we grow spiritually, or how do we know that we're spiritually growing and moving forward? It depends a lot on how we react to certain things. Now remember, if you believe God is with you, you're going to react differently from someone that doesn't believe God is with them. If you believe God is with you even in the most difficult moments in your life, I just got fired, I just got kicked out of my apartment, I just broke up with my girlfriend, I'm going through a terrible divorce, or my kids don't want to pay attention anymore, or I'm going through some difficult times right now, financially, economically, something's going bad. That person, with God with them, knowing that God is with them and for them and is going to pull them through, will react differently than the person that doesn't believe it. So you measure spiritual growth not by your attendance at church on Sunday mornings or Sunday afternoons or Sunday nights, not by how many good things you do during the week, like feed hungry people or clothe poor people, or do a lot, or help the old lady cross the road, or put the cart back at Home Depot where it belongs, or at Walmart or at Target, put it back. It's not by how many good things you do. That's not a measure of spiritual growth. That's just being a good person or a nice person, but it doesn't measure how you're growing spiritually. What measures it is your reaction to things that come into your life. Now, there's a lot of good things that can happen to your life. How many like it when good things happen? I like it when good things happen. And there's a lot of bad things that happen to your life. How many like it when bad things happen? No one. No one likes it when bad things happen. No one likes it when you're rooting for your basketball team and your main star gets injured again. No one likes that. But bad things happen to you, but how do you react to it? What happens when those things come in? What comes out? So, going back to high school a little bit, for those physics geeks, I'm no good at physics at all, but I only remember, for some odd reason, I remember Newton's laws of motion. For some odd reason, those laws of motion have stuck with me since junior year in high school, and practically the only reason why I passed my physics class in junior year was because of the honor roll student that sat next to me, close enough for me to copy off of. But other than that, it was by God's grace that I passed my physics class. But I remember this. I remember Newton's three laws of motion. And the first three, the 1 and 3 are the ones that we're going to apply today. The second one I really don't get. It's more of a mathematical kind of a thing. It says force equals mass times velocity. I don't know what that means, and I don't want to dissect it because I'll get lost. But I remember law 1. And law one is what we're going to talk about a little later that says an object at rest will remain at rest until a force or an outside force is applied. Law three says for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. So, for every action that is going on in your life, for every external thing that happens to you, there is an opposite or equal reaction to it. And that, my friends, is how we're going to measure spiritual growth. So, church attendance and being here is a good thing. However, it doesn't measure how you are spiritually. You could come to church 52 Sundays out of the year and be the worst person ever, still cheat on your wife, still do bad things, still be, we want to be a church, and listen to this carefully because we've been saying this since day one when we started. I want to be involved in a church, in a place where we accept everyone for who they are, where people can come in without feeling judged and criticized and, oh my God, what is he wearing? Oh my God, what is that on his face? Oh my God, what? Regardless of how they look, how tall they are, how skinny they are, what race they're from, regardless of all of that stuff, I want to be part of a church that says, it doesn't matter, bro, because chances are I'm worse than you, and I'm here by God's grace, and by God's grace alone, I'm going to run the rest of this race and hopefully be the person that God wants me to be. So I want to be a part of a church that acts like that and that is like that we can embrace people and say, let's go through this race together. You and I are both sinners in need of a Savior. Let's find Him together. Let's move forward. I won't criticize you. I won't judge you, but I'll help you move forward. And I want to be a part of a church that says not only that, but I want to be a part of a church that says and that does transformation. I want to be a part of a place, and what we've been preaching for the past year is God and the Holy Spirit, they're in charge of the transformation in our lives. And we've said it multiple times where God loves you so much to leave you the way you are. So it's good. Come in here like we spoke about for 4 weeks broken and allow God to fix you. Allow God to begin to mold you and to make you into the man or the woman or the father or the mother He really wants you to be. Allow that transformation to happen, because when transformation happens in your life, your reaction to outside circumstances, your reaction to the outside actions over your life will be measured differently. I'll put it this way. If you're in the army, you're going to the army, and you know that chances are you're going to go to war, especially during these times. And so the soldiers that are defending our nation, and if you're going to go to the army, and the people that we want to defend the United States, we want to say the United States has the best army, the best soldiers out there. We want to believe that the people out there are ready to give their lives for our freedom. And they're going to fight, and they're going to do what they have to do to win, regardless of what they have to lose, or even if they lose their own lives. We want to make sure that those soldiers out there are doing their best for our country. So we don't want to believe that our army and the soldiers in our army are kicking back in the barracks, just chilling, drinking Red Bull all day or drinking coffee all day, just chilling out there watching MTV and singing Katy Perry songs all day. We don't want to believe that. We don't want to just see them playing football all day, playing volleyball all day, and just relaxing, taking a couple beers and doing their thing and just sitting down on the couch and chilling. We don't want to see that. We want to believe, and I hope and I think that's the way it is, that these soldiers in the army are being trained every day. And because of television and some movies that I've seen, some of the training that occurs, I've never been in the army, so I don't know, but what TV has taught me and some of the movies out there, Saving Private Ryan and all that stuff, what that has shown is that the training camps that these soldiers go through are very brutal. As a matter of fact, most of the people that want to get into the army, they have to take a physical to see if you're physically qualified to be in the army. If you're not physically qualified to be in the army, then you can't go. So imagine the church was like that. Well, If you're spiritually qualified to come to church, we're going to give you a test, and you're going to have to answer these questions. How many books are in the Bible? How many verses are in the book of Job? And blah, blah, blah. And answer all these questions. And if you're good enough, you could come in. If not, go study or go somewhere else. That'd be crazy. But the army, it gives you a physical test of how physical you are in order to get there. So the regimen that they do every day, 5 o'clock, running 9-10 miles in the cold in the morning, the exercise, the brutalness that they go, the training, and all of that stuff that they have to endure day after day until they finally get sent out into war, and they land in Iraq, or they land in the Middle East somewhere, or they land somewhere where they're about to get bombarded and fight, and everything is going to go crazy there. Everything they trained for in training camp has prepared them for that moment. Everything that they went through, all those morning runs, all those strong, all the time the drill sergeant was yelling at them at the top of his lungs, and soldier, and blah, 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 and yelling and yelling. All of that was to prepare them for sitting in the trenches, bullets flying over your head, body parts flying around you, you having to pick up your wounded friend or the soldier that's next to you, running, bombs exploding, children screaming, people going crazy. All of that was in preparation for that. Because when they get there, they react according to their training. So when we're here in church, although I'm not yelling at you all the time and screaming at people, and it's not like the army, in a sense, God always kind of, we're symbolic of God's army. We're part of God's army in a sense. We read that throughout the whole entire Old Testament, how we're symbolic of being God's army. We're soldiers in God's army. And if God is for us, who can be against us? And it's the army of the Lord that's coming through. Everything you learn, everything you understand here, every conflict that happens here, every person that you meet here, every relationship that you build up in this training camp is preparing you for every obstacle you're going to face out there. Now, if you take training camp lightly, then chances are your reaction to certain things in life is going to be indifferent. It's going to be like if you don't know God. Your life will literally feel like it's going to end when something bad happens. You'll cry your eyes out. You won't know what to do because you don't understand that God is with you. And training camp has been a joke to you. You've been sitting down just listening. And imagine the soldier in training camp saying, I don't want to do that. Run? You want me to run in boots and with this big 100-pound backpack on me? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to relax right here. They'll kick him out. Or imagine the doctor that is in the 8th year of medical school, and he's just like winging it the whole time. Like he doesn't study. So when he's out of college and he's about to do his first open heart surgery, he's like, what was that answer to that question again? C. The answer is C. Yeah, that's what it was. C. What do I do here? I don't know. I'll just wing it. You don't want someone that's not prepared to react to certain situations. So, spiritual growth and spiritual maturity for this church will always be based on the ability of Newton's third law of motion in your life. Your reaction to the action that is happening to you. For every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction to it. How do you react to the outside? How do you react to external conflict? How do you react to positive things in your life? There's people that take positive stuff and awesome things and they just forget that God gave it to them. It's like those people that win the lottery and they don't know how to manage money at all, and within 6 months, they're bankrupt again after winning $5 million in the lottery, and they're already in bankruptcy again, and they owe people. It's like, how does that happen? You weren't prepared for it. You're not prepared for it. So always remember this. Your attendance in church, being a consistent church goer won't ever really mean that you're growing spiritually. Now, I'm not trying to stop you from coming, because this is part of who we are as Christians. This is part of what our faith is. This is what Hebrews 11 says. Don't make it a custom of not meeting together. We are the body. We are the members, and he is the head of his body. We are his body. He is the head. So we gather together. We learn together. We grow together. We worship together. We give together. A couple weeks ago, some kids went out from church. Some people from Torch joined. They went out and they clothed. They gave clothing to people less fortunate, and they went out there, and we did that together as a church. And that's the body of God. That's the body of Christ in motion at work. So that's why we want you here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're growing. So you could come every Sunday, listen to me or some other guy talk, and just be like, cool, let's go eat. Let's go get some coffee, man. Let's go watch the Bears game right now. It's like, it won't mean anything to you. It'll be a personal satisfaction of going to church. And then that's it. And then we'll just wait till next week to see you again. So we must learn, and we must accept this truth. Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. We must wake up to this timeless truth and say, God, you are with me. God, I must know you. God, if you are with me, then I will know you. Then I will make it my prerogative. I will make it my lifelong mission to know who you are. If you say you're with me, if you say you're going to walk with me in the darkest valleys of my life, if you say you're going to go with me in the rockiest soil of my life, then I want to know who you are, so that my faith in you will pull me through any obstacle that will come my way, so that my reaction to the action, negative or positive, will be a reaction based off my godly knowledge of who God is, of who Christ is in me. So I will walk with God, and I will learn God. I will learn to hear his voice. I will learn to understand what he wants in my life, so I can avoid certain things. Some of us get into big time mess ups and mistakes, and we make the worst decisions in life because we forget that God is with us. And we forget that we can go to him when we feel like there's no one else that we can go to, and ask for advice and say, God, help me in this area in my life. I'm about to make a huge decision that can affect my family, my kids, my career, everything. God, I need you to show me the way. And sometimes we just make decisions off our own, or we ask our buddy on Facebook, hey, bro, what do you think? Yeah, bro, do it, man. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, just hang in there, man. Do it, yeah. And we forget that God is with us. God is for us. God wants me to do well. God has beautiful thoughts for me. It's, Psalm 91:11. I always love reading this verse. One of my favorite verses, 91:11, in the book of Psalms, and it says, a very well-known verse. It says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. I always repeat this verse because it's so beautiful. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. We must learn to dwell in God's presence. We must learn to be with God. Dwell there. And that's sometimes the biggest problem. We don't want to be there, or that presence of God, or that willingness of God is substituted for something or somebody or someone else. Sometimes our lack of abiding in Christ, spending time in Christ, spending time in God's presence, is substituted by that person, by my girlfriend, by my boyfriend, by my career, by my inspiration from his life, from his words, from his way of living, so that we can move positively in the right way and not in the wrong way. God is with us. Tell the person next to you, God is with you. Scream it at him or her if you can. Wake him up. Be like, God is with you. So, as our spiritual level increases, obviously, our faith also increases. Now, there's not many things in my life that I'm proud of. There isn't a lot of things in my life. As a matter of fact, there isn't really much that I can boast about or that I can be excited about in my life. I'm here by God's grace. But one of the things that in my life that has surprised myself is my faith in God. Now, I don't say this in a prideful way. It just has surprised me of how much faith I've learned over the years to have in God. And because of that, it has pulled me through in ways that I've never thought, and it's got me out of things that I've never thought I could get out of. I remember going to college, my second year of college. And my wife, my girlfriend at the time, she remembers, I had no place to live. I had not even paid for college. I had no money, no place to live. And I lied to my parents. I told them everything's under control. Financial aid is under control. I got my loans. Everything's good. I'm going to school. And so they're like, all right, well, see you next year or see you in Christmas. And so I take off to Boston. I go there. I go to college, and I'm there with my bags and everything. I have no place to live, so I'm carrying around my luggage and everything. I get out of the plane and just go directly to school, register. I had none of all that. And inside of me, like, I just knew for some reason that God was going to do something. And it wasn't like a religious thing, like, in the name of Jesus, you're going to provide. It wasn't like I prayed for it or anything. It was like, I know that God's going to back me up in this. I mean, he wants me here. I believe, I felt strong in my heart that I had to go away for 4 years and be away for 4 years. And if that was the case, God was going to watch out for me. And he did. And so I just show up to Boston, no place to live, no money, no anything, nothing. And I'm just there. I register for my classes, and they say, well, we can't give you your schedule because you haven't paid for your semester. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So you owe $11,000. I'm like, oh, no, sure, no problem. So I had like somehow managed to get a loan from those wonderful student loans. If you've gone to school, if you're a college graduate, you're in love with your student loans, correct? I had to get a student loan, and I was like, well, whatever. If I get a student loan, I'll go to school. If I don't, I'll be a college dropout for the rest of my life. I applied then and there, and I said, whatever. And I went out to get something to eat real quick with like the $3 that I had in my pocket. And I come back, and I'm like, can I pick up my schedule now? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's been paid. So I was like, cool, I guess my loan went through. All right, I didn't have to pay for it then, but I'm paying for it now. Anyway, so I registered for class. I'm there, and I'm like, all right, everything's good. I got my classes. I have my whole schedule. I'm excited. But then I get out of school, and I'm still have all my bags with me. And I'm like, where do I go? Where am I going to sleep tonight? What am I going to do with all of this? Or who can I call? Like, nothing. And out of nowhere, my friend, that wasn't even my good friend, he was just a guy that I knew because he was Mexican. So, hey, you're brown, I'm brown. Hey, what's up, man? We're best friends here in Boston. And so I had met him very briefly the prior year. And so he said, hey, and he calls me by my name. And he's like, what's up, man? How you doing? He's like, hey, do you know anyone that wants a roommate or a place to live or a place to stay? And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, I do. He's like, yeah, let him know, because I got an extra room with me, and we could split the rent, and it's cheap, and they could come live with me right now, but I need someone quick. And I was like, well, let's go, man. And that same day, I had a place to live, and my school was paid for. And many people would have been like, why the heck would you go 2,000 miles away not knowing if you were going to go to school and have the money and not even have a place to stay? And it was just like, I knew God was going to do something. I didn't know he was going to do something that awesome, but he did it. And I was able to have I had a place to sleep at night. My friend had food, and he had cereal and macaroni and cheese, and I was like, this is God's goodness over my life. And throughout my entire life, this building that has come up, it was a huge undertaking. I felt strongly to tell the pastor one day, and I've mentioned this before briefly. I told the pastor one day, look, Pastor, I'm here. If I'm here, I'm here for a reason, and I'm your son, but what I want you to do is you worry about preaching, teaching the word of God, doing all that awesome stuff that you do, and I'll worry about all of this stuff. Talking to the contractors, going through all the zoning, doing all of this, talking to lawyers, going to meeting with art. I'll do all of that. You preach, and I'll do all of this junk. I don't have any experience in building anything. I've only built a doghouse in my life, and my wife hates that doghouse, and she doesn't like it. I've never done anything like this. But I told him, with God's help, he'll get us through. Did the church have money to pay for something like this? No. I don't. To this day, I ask my wife, like, how did we do it? How did we pay for? How are we not bankrupt? God is faithful. God is good. And in this, it was like the biggest test of my faith. I knew God was going to get me through it. I knew God was going to get us through it. I read when David said, God, you brought me here and you will not let me go. You've brought me this far to turn back. And so 2 years later into this building project, the building is built. I remember that one night, the Sunday, no, it was Saturday night. We had finally finished cleaning and we were going to open up, like it was Christmas morning. So it was December something, like the last Sunday in December, or the second to last Sunday in December, that we opened our first service here. And I was here Saturday night. Well, we were here, a lot of us were here Saturday, all day Saturday, just working our butts off to get everything ready, putting the chairs in order. And we had a last, like, there was 8 of us at the end putting all of these chairs here in order. And we were getting ready for Sunday morning service. And my friend, the guy that does the lights and stuff, it was me and him. We spent the night here on Saturday night. We spent the night because we were going over all the wiring and trying to fix these. Some lights were not cooperating correctly. And that Saturday night, we spent the night here. 8 o'clock, the doors open and people started coming in. And I sat back there. I went up into this little office over there because you could see everything. And I said, God, you did it. Like, look at, there's people were coming in. The music was playing. Everyone was dancing. Everyone was excited. And I said, God, some way, somehow, with a small group of Hispanic, Latino people that have no money, you've built all of this. And I was like, that's my faith in you, God. That's what pulled me through it. Last week, my wife and I went through a very difficult situation and it scared me, but I wasn't scared the way I needed to be scared. My wife, we had one Friday night, my wife gets real bad labor pains, and she was going into labor 6-7 weeks early from anticipation, and she was going into labor, and so we had to rush her to the hospital. We're there. We spend the night at the hospital. We're there. The doctor tells my wife, or one of the nurses tell my wife, hey, you're about to give birth. You might have your son today. And we're like, no, it's 7 weeks early. It can't happen. And it's scary. My wife is in pain. She's hurting. I didn't know what to do. What do you do with a pregnant lady that's screaming? Like, there's nothing you could do to her to calm her down. Like, she is in pain. And at the moment, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have my son. So I was like, yeah. But then my wife's like, no, it's 7 weeks too early. No, that's not. And so I was like, oh, that's a bad thing. Yeah, you're going to have to leave him in the hospital and maybe an incubation and all this stuff. Something bad can happen to the baby. Your wife might get hurt. And so all of these worries started. I was like, oh, man. But then I'm like, it's all right. And for some reason, I was questioning myself, why am I not more scared? Like, why am I not like crying right now, worried to death that something could happen to my wife and my baby? And it was just God's overwhelming peace in my life. And I knew everything was going to be okay. And so we're there Friday, and we spend the night in the hospital, just the two of us, and we had like a date night in the hospital there for 24 hours. I mean, that's how you know you love somebody. If you're in a hospital room for 24 hours, it's like, ugh. But we were there, and God was good. My wife is okay. The doctor told her be in bed rest, but bed rest for my wife is not in the dictionary. She just cannot stay still. But we're trying to help her in all of that. And I knew God was gonna pull us through, and everything's been okay. Everything's okay. I believe that my baby's gonna come out healthy, and I believe my baby's gonna do well in the next couple of weeks. And all of this because I know who God is. I know that God, when He spoke to Mary, had all of us and had my life in His hands. And He said, Jonathan, behold, the virgin shall bear a child, and that son, they will call his name Emmanuel. God is with you. God is with you. And that truth that God tells me, He's telling you today that exact same truth. God is with you. So spiritual maturity is very important because it'll measure how you react to life's difficult situations. Next year, if that's the way we want to see it, and we want to do New Year resolutions, and we want to do all this incredible stuff, and we want to change a lot of things in our life, let's keep this in focus. How can I grow in knowledge of knowing the person that says will be with me till the day I die? How can I grow in knowledge and in faith with the person that has promised to stick with me through thick and thin and pull me through? Because I can't keep, friends, I wouldn't be here if church was just my religion. I would not be able to support or stand it if church was my religion. I would just forget it. Let's close it. Let's go. Let's do some. Let's do our own. Let's become atheists, or let's just not do. Find your own way. Find your own enlightenment. Everything leads to God, anyways. It would be that way. But I believe in the words that are spoken here that said Jesus has promised, and He came specifically to save you from your sin, to save you from the depths of hell, and to be with you every step of the way. And I believe that with all my heart. And that's why we're here. And that's why my reaction to certain things in life, and many of yours reaction to certain things in life, has been way different than somebody that doesn't know who God is. So if you're going to do a New Year resolution, if you're going to write down a checklist, if you're going to do a short-term, a long-term goal for next year, make sure that in between losing weight and going to the gym, make sure you put first, I need to know God more. I need to get to know this person that has promised to be with me every step of the way. I need to know that person. Because there's a lot of inconsistencies with people today. There's a lot of people that say one thing and they do something completely different, but God is not like that. I could say one thing and be completely different. God is not like me. God is God, and God is always faithful. And we should celebrate that. And we should be proud of that we believe in that God, and we believe in that power of someone that is always consistently looking after us. Because if we don't, then our reactions will be based off the thing that we do know. Or, to put it in spiritual terminology, our reaction will be based off the thing or the person we actually worship. See, if we call ourselves Christ worshipers, Jesus worshipers, God worshipers, then because we worship, because you cannot worship what you do not know, then if I worship God, it's because I know Him. And so because I know Him, I worship Him, and He feeds me my reaction to certain things of life. But if I don't believe Him and I don't worship Him, then I'm obviously worshiping something else or somebody else or a relationship, or I'm obviously codependent on something or somebody else. So then that person is going to be my life support. That person is going to be my lifeline. That person or that thing, that career, that job, that 401k, that bank account, whatever it is, that in itself will be your salvation. And you will base yourself, your reaction to everything else in life is based off what you worship. So you react to Now, you know how that goes. When the things that, if you worship finite things or things that will come to an end, like a job, a career, a bank account, a 401k, that stuff that will eventually come to an end cannot fulfill an eternal soul. Always remember, Ecclesiastic tells us, the book in the Bible that teaches us about time. It also teaches us about having eternity in our hearts. And something that is not eternal cannot fulfill an eternal heart. The only thing that can fulfill an eternal heart is an eternal being, which is God. God is with us. Emmanuel, God is with us. But you want to put your confidence, your soul dependency, you want to put all the cards on the table with this person or with this thing or with these group of people or with this career or with this amount of money or with this car or with this job status or economic, whatever it is that you want to put it here. Know this, it will come to an end. And then you will be searching for something else to take its place. So the decision is on your court. So I pray that this next year coming up, you make it a mission to know God. Can you know, can you take this timeless truth that says, Emmanuel, God is with us. He was proclaiming that word to the entire universe. There is a God is coming, a Christ, a Savior is coming that will be with you every step of the way. His name is Jesus Christ. God is with us. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips for next year. Very simple tips. Tips that have helped me increase a lot. Hey, do I have a lot of work to do in my life? I have a lot of work to do in my life. Basically, God has to still chip away a lot of nasty things in my life that I'm even embarrassed about. But I know I'm getting there. I know that if I stay still, it's not good. I have to keep moving. I have to stay in motion. I have to let God keep healing me and changing things in my life that He needs to change. So some of the basic things that we do to grow spiritually, and remember, spiritual growth is that is allowing our faith to change, and it also is how we react to certain things in life. Some of this is very basic. There is the devotional aspect of your life, which we talked about almost in the beginning of the year. We talked about spiritual discipline that has to deal with your knowledge of the Word of God, your personal time with God, and how you're able to bring those two elements into your everyday life. So I encourage you, read your Bible. Before you read your Bible, take this simple step. There's many ways to read your Bible, but if you've never opened up the Bible, it's daunting. It's like, what is this saying? Who are these people? What? And it can be a very daunting task. What you do is very simple, and I still do this to this day. I pick up the Bible, and if I'm reading a specific book in the Bible, it's always good to read. I'm going to commit myself to read the book of Matthew. I'm going to commit myself to read the book of John or whatever it is. You commit yourself to it. You don't jump around. You just kind of focus in on that. You commit to it, and before you open up, if you're going to read a chapter a day or 2 chapters or a verse a day, before you do it, just pause for 5 seconds and say, God, okay, just help me understand what this is going to tell me today. Is there something that you want to tell me with my daily reading today, God? I pray that every word that I read at this moment come to life in my life, and I'm able to apply it in my everyday life. So when you do that, you open yourself up to God. So when you start reading, it begins to make a little bit more sense. Oh, okay. And God does a lot more. It's a simple, basic step in biblical reading, but then the truth becomes real, and then the truth that is inspired by God brings you closer to Him, and you begin to gravitate towards Him every day more. And so what ends up happening is you learn more about God, you love it, that you want to spend time with God, which is the second part of your spiritual formation, which is being alone with Him in prayer. Just praying, just giving Him, just talking to Him in prayer, just communicating with God in prayer. Yeah, you're communicating with the Creator of the universe. He's not just some big daunting figure in space. He wants wants to communicate. And you're doing that. So you learn about him in the word, and then you spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I've been telling you guys to do this every Sunday almost. Because if you don't grow in your knowledge of God, if you're not growing spiritually, then you're literally just sitting here warming up a chair. I like to see your face, that's cool, but in reality, nothing's changing in your life. You're the same person. You're probably even worse than how you were when you showed up. And that can't be that way. So we want to be a church that says, everyone welcome. You're a sinner, I'm a sinner, we're all messed up. But by God's grace, He's accepted us, and that acceptance can't leave us that way, so He's going to begin to shape us and form us into the person that He wants us to be. So let's do it together, and let's grow. And that's what's going to happen in this church, and I believe it with all my heart if you and I commit ourselves to getting to know Emmanuel. God is with us. So are you ready to accept the task of committing yourself to getting to know God? Yay or nay? Yay. We want to commit ourselves to get to know God, all right? So let's get up off our seats.